it's summertime and maybe you got some extra cash lying around and you want to spend some money, you want to splurge some money on some niche summer fragrances. Well, today I got 12 of those for you that are going to be perfect for this summer heat, and I like wearing a lot of these myself, so a lot of these are going to be my personal recommendations, but really anybody's going to love these. So stick around, make yourself comfortable, and let's jump right in. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm excited to get into this video because I've been pulling a lot of these fragrances off my shelf and actually spraying them on myself throughout my week. And so if you haven't seen any of my weekly fragrance rotation videos, you can actually see what I'm wearing on a daily basis. So that's a fun little series that I just started recently. But first off on the list, we're actually looking at one of the most affordable niche fragrances on this list. It is a Middle Eastern niche fragrance house. This one is from Ahmed Maghribi, and this one is Blue Oud. It's about $40 or so, and they have some amazing fragrances. I've only smelled this one, but from what I've seen online from the community and other reviews, it sounds like the other stuff are fantastic, and this one definitely blew my mind the first time that I smelled it, and it still does when I wear it. This one gives off the coolest animalistic leather, so it's going to be a little bit smoky, a little bit dark, but at the same time it has a very fruity, almost like a fruit punch or a bergamot. It's a really nice balance between sweet, fresh, and fruity, and also a nice kind of smoky, oudy leather. So it's a little bit animalistic, but very fresh, and you can definitely pull it off in the summer. Just do maybe 2 or 3 sprays because it's very strong, but I love the idea of an animalistic, fresh summer oud fragrance, and that one is Ahmed Maghribi's Blue Oud. Roja Elysium. I feel like this is one of the best beginner fragrances. This one has such a bright and effervescent opening. You have grapefruit, it's very crisp, and you have some other citruses mixed with a beautiful vetiver, so it's gonna smell earthy, a little bit wheat-like, and it just smells absolutely phenomenal. You also got some green apples, some black currant, and just a plethora of nice green, really nice fresh and aquatic notes in here that really do make for an extremely unique fragrance. It's very easy to wear. You can pick it up, wear this to the office, and I actually have worn this one to the office a lot of times, and I got a handful of compliments from it. But really, I love this DNA, and there are some other Middle Eastern clones out there that do a pretty good job of capturing this, but I still think that this one is perfect as it is. The longevity is good for what it is, and I'm okay with a niche fragrance not always performing 12, 14 hours, because if it's special and if I really love how it smells, then I can overlook some of the performance, because really you're just paying for the composition and the art, and if you like the smell. At least that's my 2 cents. But a beautiful citrus blast with vetiver and that creamy muskiness, and that one is Roja Elysium. Now next up is another amazing fragrance house. This one is from Milano Fragranze, and this one is Galleria. I remember I had a tiny little decant of this sent to me in a Scent Explorer Discovery Kit, like I want to say it was like 3 or 4 years ago. It was a while ago before I even started doing the channel. Man, this has such a cooling effect to it. It's got a really nice berry note up top, so it's going to be a little bit fruity. I think there was some strawberry or some sort of like cherry note in here. This one has such a soft and supple leather, so it's not going to be like a screechy leather or a real in-your-face leather like ombre leather or ombre nomad. This is going to be a smooth, leathery suede, and you also have some orris in there that makes it smell a little bit earthy. It's almost like you have a really nice suede leather jacket, you're walking outside and you smell a hint of coffee coming from a cafe about a block away. The orris and the violet leaf here give a really interesting wet concrete accord, at least to my nose. I haven't heard other people say that, but that's almost what I get from this. So it's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit earthy, and just very aquatic smelling. This is definitely an artistic fragrance, and it's worth picking up if you can find it on Fragrance Buy for about 85 or 90 bucks. And that one is Galleria by Milano Fragranze. Next up is a classic. It's been around for a while, and there was some hype about 3 or 4 years ago, pretty strong for this fragrance, but it's still definitely worth it, and you can pick it up for a really good price nowadays. And this one is Goldfield and Banks Pacific Rock Moss. I've been wearing this like crazy throughout this past couple days, and I gotta say, it is so refreshing. It's citrusy, it is sweet, and it's not gonna be synthetic at all. It's going to be a soft, sweet aquatic. This stuff has a hefty dose of moss in there, as the name would suggest. It's like a nice soft oak moss, but you also have some sage, which gives it a little bit of an aromatherapy vibe. So it's very relaxing and it's very pleasing on the nose. And you also have some geranium, some woody notes. It's just very creamy. You also have a bit of lemon in here, so it's going to be a soft, creamy lemon. So not like a real citrusy lemon juice freshly squeezed. It's going to be a soft, really subtle lemon that gives a nice bit of sweetness and some energy to it. But really nice, oceanic without being too salty or marine-like, and it really is good stuff. Plus performance is really good. I think I did about 6 or 7 sprays and it lasted me all day, at least 9 hours. And that one is Pacific Rock Moss by Goldfield and Banks. Next up is another really nice aquatic fragrance. This is a relatively new pickup, and this one is from the house of Who is Elijah, and this one is Eau. So this to me just smells like a lot of Le Labo fragrances. Kind of has that Santal 33 vibe mixed with some of the other green kind of citrusy fragrances that they have, but it's very, very pleasing here. Yeah, just a very green vegetal vibe in the opening, and you also have some coconut, iris, and fig in there, and so it almost feels like you're just on the tropical beach, you know, with a suntan, with your suntan lotion, and you just have the really nice palm leaves. In the base, you have a little bit of sweetness, and you can still smell it throughout the entirety of the fragrance, but really the iris and the moss really make it smell powdery. It's musky, and it's really just a nice salty sea air combined with that nice creamy coconut and fig. So if you're going on a vacation or a cruise, I think you could definitely throw this in your bag or your carry-on, and you're gonna be set for a good time. This is one of my favorites from the house, and this one is Who is Elijah Eau. The next one is from a seriously underrated fragrance house. They are so creative, and I just love all of the creations that they come up with. And this one is from Zoologist, and this one is Squid. So there's something so unique about this fragrance because it's inky. It's got a sea salt vibe, and you also have some ambergris and benzoin. So it's gonna be a little bit of a sweetness. You have a vanillic resinous vibe in the base from the benzoin, but that ink definitely adds a unique edge to it. So it's not gonna smell like a lot of fragrances out there. You're not going to smell like any designer stuff. It's definitely going to be a soft, solar, radiant, vanillic quality with a little bit of a spice and some incense. There's a lot of pepper and other things in here, but really it's just a nice, soft warmth kind of radiating from you that does still smell a little bit aquatic because you have the moss, you have ambergris, and you have some sea salt. So it's going to smell sweet, oceanic, with a little bit of that ink that's definitely going to set you apart. And that one is Zoologist Squid. This next one is my first Amouage fragrance that I ever purchased, and it's for a good reason because it really blew my mind when I smelled it. This one is Amouage Search. So this bottle looks very similar to the Meander one.
High temperatures and can expect a high of 102 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, did I ask?
I haven't heard anything in the last minute, but you can listen to all your...
Anyway, this one really blew my mind, and I had to get a full bottle ASAP. So this stuff just smells like citrus, resins, and smoke. So it reminds me of a smoked old fashioned, so it's a little bit boozy. You have some of that whiskey, but you also have some of that orange bitters quality, but man, is this a good way to smell smoky in the summer without being too overbearing. So you got some nice refreshing citruses, some gaiac wood, and some elamine here that's gonna make it smell a little bit waxy, definitely resinous, and a little bit peppered from some of that black pepper. But really, this stuff is incredible, and I love pulling this out if it's a nice Friday evening, if it's a little bit cooler outside. I love pulling this stuff out because it projects and radiates. It's gonna make people turn their heads and they're gonna think, who the heck smells like that? Because you are gonna leave a nice dense cloud behind you, and you're gonna turn some heads with this stuff. I promise you that. And that one is Amouage Search. A lot of these fragrances are definitely unisex, but I think this one tends to lean a little bit more feminine. But if you like creamy, sweet, fruity fragrances, I think you're gonna like this one. And it's fun for the summer if you're willing to give it a shot. This one is Memo Sintra. So this bottle is absolutely beautiful. It's got this orange, really thick juice in here that makes it just smell absolutely incredible. So this stuff is a very sweet, almost marshmallow-like sweetness. So it's gonna be very creamy. You also get a really unique berry accord in here. So it's gonna smell like cherry or strawberry ice cream, but it really just does smell heavenly with maybe 1 or 2 sprays. So honestly, 1 or 2 sprays is all you need because it is so strong, and you can definitely choke yourself out if you go too crazy, but maybe spray a couple behind you so that it's trailing you, so that it's not just floating up your nose and just gagging you, because it's really good, but it's really, really strong, and this will last you forever. But just a really fun, almost suntan quality from this. So if you're going on a vacation, it's gonna smell very tropical, very fresh, and very creamy. So it's a fun fragrance. And that one is Memo Sintra. This next one is one of my favorite niche fragrances of all time, and it happens to be a really strong summer, spring, and fall fragrance. And this one is Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Gentle Fluidity Silver. Now there is Gentle Fluidity Gold, and I've seen some Middle Eastern clones of that one, but we're still waiting for a more affordable version. I actually have one on the way, so that one I'm really excited to get into. So hopefully it, stands up to this fragrance. So we're gonna be doing a comparison video really soon, so stay tuned for that one. This is such a unique fragrance, and I absolutely love the combination of the musk and the juniper berries with the coriander in here. So it's gonna smell a little bit spicy, but it's still gonna be very fresh. It's gonna be a little bit green, and it's gonna give you a very, very unique quality. And I haven't had just a strong psychological connection with a fragrance or just an emotional bond with a fragrance like I have with this one for some reason. It smells like extremely clean hotel linen, so it's a little bit soapy, definitely musky and powdery, but honestly the nutmeg and the amber give it a little bit of a warmth, a little bit sweet but very musky, and a little bit green from that juniper berry. But if you want to smell like a clean, fancy dryer sheet or like hotel linens, I think this is a perfect option, and it's a really, really nice offering from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and it's one of my favorites from the house. And that one is Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Gentle Fluidity Silver. Next up is a fragrance from the house of Amouroud, and I am excited to try some other fragrances from them. I want to try some more of their oud fragrances because they look really, really interesting. But this fragrance, Wet Stone, I also smelled in that little Scent Explorer Discovery Kit with the Galleria fragrance. So this one, I remember it also blew my mind. For a while, Tom Ford Oud Mineral was discontinued and you couldn't pick it up, but you could still pick this one up, and it was very similar to that fragrance. It was that nice musky oceanic air with that nice kind of creamy driftwood, and you also have some spice and almost a musky oud in there. And I think this definitely does that, but adds a little bit more of a refreshing citrus. You have some mineralic notes in here, and it really does just smell like wet stone. I want to say there's some incense in here, but really the agar wood is a nice creamy agar wood. It's not going to be too animalistic, and it's going to be a nice summer oud. So if you're looking for an oud that you can wear out in this high heat, this is good because it's got some of those nice citruses, the sea salt, and some of those beautiful oceanic mineralic notes. It's also very similar to Lattafa's Ouajoud. Ouajoud really isn't my cup of tea, and I feel like this does it a million times better. And if you can get this for under 150 bucks, I think you are gonna get a hidden gem of a fragrance, and you're gonna turn some heads. And that one is Amouroud's Wet Stone. Our second to last fragrance is from the house of Xerjoff, and I've talked about this fragrance countless times, but I could not leave it out of this summer niche list because it is so fantastic. And this one is 40 Knots. Now, I do have a fragrance in my collection that I'm gonna review very soon. It's a $40 or so version of this, and it's so close in the opening that it's kind of scary, but I'm gonna be doing a video on that one too. So if you have a little bit of extra money and you wanna go with the original, then definitely support them and get the 40 Knots because this one is so incredible. It's unique. It's got an ambery, smoky edge to it, but it's also very aquatic. It's delicate, and it has a beautiful radiant quality to it. This one has some sea salt, some oceanic notes, and it really just does smell aquatic. It's sweet without smelling too overbearing, and it is very dark. And when I say dark, I don't mean like a Black Phantom or like a Paco Rabanne fragrance. I'm talking about it's dark outside, you're turning down the lights, and you're just getting ready for a really nice cozy night in with your partner. You're getting a nice soft bubble bath, and you're really just spending that time together. Yeah, something about this reminds me of expensive body wash or expensive hotel soap. And it also reminds me a little bit of an expensive bougie candle. So you're gonna smell like wealth when you're wearing this one, and it's great for the summer because it's sweet and it's got some incense and smokiness. You're gonna have that really sexy quality without being too overbearing, and it's just very, very smooth. And that one is Xerjoff's 40 Knots. Last but not least is this tiny little 1 ounce bottle. This is the only size that they have, and I'm sad because I totally would have got 100 ml if they had it. But this is Neandertal Them. So this fragrance is for musk lovers. If you love clean, musky fragrances, this is gonna be it for you. The orris and the seaweed in here make it smell aquatic. It's also got some lavender and just some nice white florals with healthy dose of ambergris in the opening. So it's gonna smell musky, aquatic, and it's gonna have a beautiful, waxy, almost almost wet paper-like quality to it. The seaweed in here is done tastefully. It's not going to be an overbearing, just gross marine-like fragrance. You're not gonna smell like a beached whale or something. It's just a very nice supporting note. And I think the carrot seeds add a really unique quality to it that doesn't make it smell like a lot of fragrances. Definitely a slightly weird fragrance. It reminds me a little bit of the smell of insulin. So if you're a nurse or if you're diabetic, you'll kind of know what that smells like, but it just reminds me a little bit of it. But this stuff really is unique and it's one of my favorites for the summer. And that one is Neandertal Them. So there you have it, 12 niche fragrances for this summer. And I am definitely wanting to get some more. So if you have any recommendations down in the comments, leave them, because I'm really on the hunt for some high quality niche summer fragrances and I need your help. That does it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm Eli with Common Sense. Until the next time, bye-bye. And that one is Milano Fragranze. I think that's how you say it. And that one is Milano Fragranze's. I feel like no way I say that sounds right.